What's up, YouTube? This is my guide to min-maxing the gym as a evidence-based lifter. Science-based has a bad connotation to it these days because people think science-based lifters don't train hard and overcomplicate shit. That could not be further from the truth. You just gotta have a little autism in you. So here are my credentials. As you can see, we have 1,700 hours on Destiny 2. We have more on BattleNet, so I'd say it's around 2,000, and we have almost 500 on Warframe. As you can tell, I love min-maxing. Build crafting is the best, especially IRL. So, as you can see, average Destiny player build. Looked pretty good a few months ago. Nice and lean. Not as lean anymore, but you get the gist. You can do it too. This only took me like a month to get down from 20% BFP, which is about what I am now, but it's pretty easy. Okay, you just gotta lock in. So, as you can see, some people kind of do their training, nutrition, training, recovery, diet as a pie chart. I think that's stupid. I like the pillars. They're the 3 pillars of fitness: your training, your recovery, and your diet. If you don't have one of them, the whole building crumbles. Okay, you need them all to be locked in. So, as you can see here, we have science-based lifter, influencer Clarky Bateman, and TNF the GOAT. The smartest people have the best physiques, and these 2 guys, brilliant people. I've been following TNF since like 2022, and same with Clarky Bateman. So let's get into them. Let's get into everything. So for training is very important. A lot of people will tell you, "Oh, just train hard, whatever." That cannot be further from the truth, because frequency beats volume. And I can tell you that if you do not have elite muscle building genetics, you need to prioritize frequency. Because as you can see here, we hate the bro split, because the bro split gives you 1 times frequency a week, because you're hitting chest day, back day, arm day, shoulder day, leg day, rest day, and potentially a second rest day. That's only 1 time a week the muscles hit. So that means you have to wait 5 to 6 days to hit it again. And atrophy starts after 48 hours. You don't want to atrophy, right? You want to keep it going. A little better, push-pull legs, right? And then a rest day. That means you have 1 sleep, 2 sleeps, 3 sleep, 4 sleeps, right? Back to push. That's like 2 times frequency. It's better. It's just not as good. Because if we talk about stimulus, you're only getting stimulus for that thing 2 times a week. So the reason why I like full body and upper lower, full body a bit more, is because you hit full body, rest, full body, rest, full body, rest. So you have frequency 3 to 4 times a week, depending on how you have it sectioned in that week. So I would call it 3.5x frequency per week, because you can't really track. Your body doesn't know it's been 7 days, right? It just knows when it starts atrophying. And upper, lower, rest, upper, lower, rest, right? Repeat. So you have a little extra rest time. This is better for people that are much, much stronger, or if you prefer it to full body. I still think full body is the best, but we'll get into that in a bit. Because the main thing is, as you do more and more sets with higher volume, the stimulus you receive goes. So here's like a graph, right? Stimulus, fatigue. So 1 set, not as fatiguing, very high stimulus. 2 sets, a little more fatigue. The stimulus is a bit lower, right? I didn't draw that right. 3, 4, right? It just like you'll eventually outweigh the benefit of more volume, because it will be harder to recover. So with a split like push-pull legs, for example, why I don't like it as much as whatever, you have so much volume in here. So let's say you do like 4 to 6 sets per chest on your workout. That's a lot. So that means 6 sets, and then you hit triceps, right? So your triceps will probably get like 2 to 4 sets. Those won't be as stimulating as if you did them where you did 2 sets of chest and then you did 2, like whatever. Like upper low is just fucking better. Just don't run push pull legs unless you're like on gear or have elite fucking genetics. There's no point. right? Upper, lower, or full body. Those are the only two you really should be running. Like back in the day, right? When I was running bro split, first of all, I made no progress. Second of all, every time I'd ask someone bigger than me what split they'd run, they'd be like, yeah, I'm on push-pull legs or upper, lower. I'm like, okay, so what do you think the best split is? And they go, oh, whatever you're growing from. And I would be growing a little. I'd tell, oh, yeah, I'm kind of stalled on my chest, my back's growing, my legs are growing. And the guys are like, oh, yeah, just keep running that. If you like it, just keep running it. No, that cannot be further from the truth. Run the most optimal thing if you want to build the most muscle. It just seems so straightforward, right? Like, you wouldn't fucking only do the glitch to get the last wish chest in Destiny 2 if you could just run the whole raid every time, right? You know what I mean? If you get in one chest every week, you're missing out on the rest of them, right? It's the same thing. For Warframe, would you farm a mission that has a lower drop rate for a mod? Or would you run the mission with the higher drop rate and it's easier to complete, right? You would pick the easier one. So you have to do the same thing with muscle building. You pick the best one, so full body or upper lower. And the next is intensity. A lot of people slack on science-based lifters for intensity, but that cannot be further from the truth. 2 RIR does not mean you're bitching out, okay? That's not what that means at all. There are some reps where I hit, and it's like I'm doing today I hit preacher curls, right? I went, oh, I'm kind of stuck right here for a second. I finished that, I lowered down. I could probably do one more, but I just put so much energy into this one set that it could impact the rest of them or the rest of my back training because I do biceps before back if I go all the way out to failure, right? And I don't want to limit that. So, and they might not recover as well, so I might not perform as well the next time I train. So you have to limit how close you go to failure. Now, you want stable movements with good leverages. Now, for example, with, let's say your quads, right? So let's say your rectus femoris. This is the muscle that only gets trained if your hip is stationary or stable. It does not move or does not get trained if your hips are moving like on a squat or a leg press on a squat pattern. So this only gets worked by a few things. So we have the classic leg extension, right? Your legs go up like that. While you're sitting on this fucking chair. Then you have the sissy squat, which is more unstable because you have to like balance backwards on your knees to get into like a position like this, right? It's very unstable. It's hard to load. You could get injured. And then we have the Bulgarian split squat, which has a leg up, a leg straight, and then you kind of just do a one-legged squat like that, right? So what do you notice about these two? They're very hard to load. They're very taxing. And they can be dangerous, right? Or you could pick leg extension, where you sit down in a chair and do the exact same thing and grow a bit more because you have more leverage to push it up, right? You can go heavier, so you, in turn, get closer to failure and you get more stimulus. Now, your body doesn't know what you're doing, right? Your body doesn't fucking care if you're on a leg extension or a sissy squat or a Bulgarian. Your body only cares on how close you go to failure, right? So why not choose the most optimal way to work it, right? The most stable, the best thing. Now, this doesn't mean you can't use free weights or whatever. A lot of people think that's another science-based critique is like, oh, you're on machines, you're not strong. You will get strong if you max out machines. You can't max out a machine if you're not strong. You know what I'm saying? Another one, for example, like a preacher curl for biceps. Your arm is on a straight fucking line, right? And it's heaviest where the bicep has the best leverage, which is at the lengthened position. So this would be better than doing some kind of cable curl where the cable is like on the tower and you're standing like this, going like that, curling up like that. I don't know, I've seen some dudes on gear do that and it seems just kind of stupid, like pump work. Another thing is the pump doesn't matter. Pump does not equate to growth because you can do a lot of volume, a lot of work not near failure and get a pump, right? That's just blood. That's just water moving around in your muscles. Growth is caused by what we call mechanical tension. Layman's terms means how hard your muscles work to do something, right? So the more leverage-based optimal things you pick, the better they'll grow because they can produce more force. I just feel like it's very straightforward. I don't know why there's so much debacle around it. Next thing, caffeine. Caffeine is the only stimulant I'll take before a workout. There's so many of these, I fell into it a bit. It's kind of preference. Like, you can take your stacked formula, but a lot of the time these nootropics kind of just, mess up my brain. And caffeine, I don't know, it just works. So why not use caffeine only? Because, like, you know what it is, right? Like, it just gets you all tweaked out, ready for a workout. It's simple, it's cheaper. I don't know. Preference based. I'm a big Monster fan. Only has 160 mg in it. Ghosts have 200. I feel like that's, like enough. I don't really think you need anything more than like 200, 220. If you do, and if you take more than that, you should probably take a tolerance break. It's not good for your heart. Yeah. Okay. Next section is recovery. I don't care if you feel like you can function on 4 or 5 hours of sleep. You need more than 8. A lot of people say like, oh, 7, 8 is kind of the basic. No, you need more, right? Because think about the last time that you went to bed without an alarm and woke up. How long did you sleep for? Probably 9 hours. Probably more than 8, right? That's how much your body needs to actually recover. Last thing here, these kind of intersect in training and recovery, is no drop sets or intensifiers because you cause more fatigue. Fatigue makes it harder to recover. So if we go back to our full body model, if you're very, very fatigued on your full body day and you rest and you can't recover from that fatigue there, and you go into your next workout, you're gonna have to skip something, right? That's not optimal. You can't then that takes your frequency down from 3.5 down to maybe 3 or maybe 2 if it happens again, right? So then there's no point in running full body if you're always fatigued. You might as well be running upper lower, right? So there's no point in doing drop sets and intensifiers because once you hit failure, you hit failure. Your body doesn't really fucking care if you go past it, right? Like, you don't get anything else from out of that. Okay, next thing, cardio. You need to do cardio, right? Otherwise you'll end up like me, right? I haven't done cardio in the last week and I've gained like some water weight. You know what I mean? Like I'm in a little slight surplus because of that, right? Because cardio, not only does it increase your maintenance calories, but it keeps your heart healthier. And that's very important, especially when we're all sitting down and shit. You know what I mean? Keep your heart healthy, keep yourself moving. Now, here's one thing. You don't want to be the fucking 40 minutes on the Stairmaster 10 speed, like, because you're going to de-bloat, whatever, looks maxer. That shit doesn't matter. You're just going to damage your legs, right? More fatigue on your legs, harder to recover. Now your leg training's not as good, right? Think about that. If you work a serving job and you get like 22,000 steps a day, you might not need to do as much cardio as the guy who sits around all day, right? Because you're walking so much, you're burning so much calorie just at work. Like, it kind of just depends on your lifestyle. But you have to kind of analyze that yourself, figure out what your upper limit is, and go below that. For me, I do like 30 minutes of incline, 15 incline, 2.5 speed treadmill after my training sessions, and I do around 8 to 10,000 steps a day, and that's kind of my limit. So now between these two is food intake. The more carbs you eat, the more protein you eat, and the more fat you like, the more optimal your macros are, the better you'll recover. Because if you're eating like no protein, then you're not going to build muscle, right? If you're eating no carbs, you're not going to have energy to work out. If you're eating no fat, then your brain's not going to function right. So these kind of link together in the food intake, which we'll get in the diet. So my main thing is eat at maintenance calories, right? And you want to track your calories too. If you don't know how to do that, we'll go to TDE Calculator, right? You go in here, put your age, put your weight, put your height. This is a variable. You kind of have to test this yourself, right? For full body, I kind of put heavy exercise. I'd say I'm about 60% body fat. It tells me my maintenance is 26. Now, I found that this is inaccurate for me. Depends on what you like. It can't like track how heavy I work out, how many calories I burn when I work out. So for me, I found that my maintenance is actually 25-50, right? That just takes experimentation and testing to figure out. So eating the same thing every day is meta. I don't care what anyone else says. It just works, and it allows to kind of assess things like your maintenance a little easier because let's say, so for example, this is what I was eating before I started experimenting with my diet, 2490, and I was losing about 0.1 to 0.3 pounds a week, which puts me at a little under maintenance, so I know my maintenance is 2550 or around there. It just lets me track things. Like if I just start taking shit out, changing things, I can kind of just see where I'm at. Now, it's important to be honest with your meal plan. You don't have to make it in a spreadsheet. I just think this is easier for me. The best ones are MyFitnessPal is goated. It's very easy. Change your location to the UK so you can use the barcode scanner. And if you're a little more, if you want to kind of maximize your micronutrients a bit more, use Chronometer. It's basically the same thing. It tells you a bit more information because you can get the same thing on MyFitnessPal. You have to pay for it. You don't have to here. They're both good in their own ways. Just kind of try it out. And if you're like me, just hit the spreadsheet, bro. I don't know. You can kind of see, I don't have these all filled in, but like, I eat the same amount of protein every day. I eat the same amount of whatever. Everything is just consistent enough to where I can track it and know what's going wrong. It's like a science experiment almost. Another thing is eat whole foods 90-10, right? You can have a crumble cookie every now and then. Not every weekend though, because if you're eating at maintenance or near maintenance, you're going to put yourself in a surplus for like a week or a month, right? It's very easy. If you're kind of eating at maintenance every day and you have one really high day, what happens is it averages it out, right? So for the next week or so, now you're eating in like a surplus, right? So you're basically bulking. So if you want to lose weight, like, and you eat a little under maintenance like I am, right? I'm losing very, very slight amount of calories, 120 per week, right? That's like 0.2 pounds a week. That's what I'm hitting at right now. You don't want to do cheat days very often because it'll just throw up your whole cut because you're very, very low, or your deficit is very, very low. It's not like recoverable. If you're like lean enough to where you don't really care, sure, like have a nice meal every weekend or so. If you like want to lean bulk like that, that's pretty optimal, because then you can just eat at maintenance the whole day and then have like a cheat meal on a weekend, and that puts you in a lean bulk. That's what I've kind of been doing for a bit. But I forgot to mention the main draw of eating at maintenance is to give your body enough energy to recover and train hard and put on muscle at the same time, right? There's no point in bulking because you'll just gain extra, like the more calories you eat, the more fat you'll put on. And okay, so let's say this is your calorie surplus, right? This is a very lean calorie surplus, or you're at maintenance, like you'll put on weight, right? You'll put on muscle. It's very easy to build muscle near maintenance because that's your body's kind of at homeostasis. Now, so in a lean bulk, so that would be like 100 to 200 above maintenance, depending on your height, right? Height matters a lot in your TDEE. The shorter you are, the faster, not the faster you'll gain weight, but like the more significant lower weight is to you than if you're tall. Like if you're 6'4" and you put on a pound, that's not really as much of like tissue, or like, you know, as big of tissue is as on a short person. So like for me, if I gain a pound, I go up like 2% in body fat, right? Like it's kind of fucking crazy. So you want to just keep it lean. If you're tall, it doesn't really matter. You can kind of just do whatever. You have like infinite maintenance anyway. But let's say you start dirty bulking, right? And you hit like a 500 calorie plus surplus. You're still going to be putting on the same amount of muscle, because muscle is very difficult to put on, right? It takes a long time to put on a lot of muscle. But you're still going to gain weight because the energy has to go somewhere. So that's all going to end up being fat. So you're just going to get fat and put on the same amount of muscle that you put on in your maintenance, right? And if you're already like an unfavorable body fat, like above 15, then you'll want to hit a slight deficit so you can still put on muscle and lose weight at the same time. It'll take a lot longer, but you'll be bigger and you'll stop losing strength. That's my one issue with cuts. I hate cutting, right? Because you just lose all your strength. And I want to keep putting on muscle. I don't want to stall with it, right? There's no point in stalling. So I'd rather lose weight very slowly, but put on the same amount of muscle as I could put on at maintenance, right? I just feel like that's very safe. It's a very safe bet. Now, if you don't mind the strength loss, then a cut is fine, right? Then there's no point in dirty bulking. Only lean bulk. If you dirty bulk, you're throwing. Like, you'll just end up like a perma-dirty bulk, right? You don't want to end up like that. You want to look like this guy? You should lean bulk. So now for macros, this is kind of the general guideline. 1.2-ish, 1 to 1.2 grams per pound of body weight for your protein, 0.4 to 0.6 grams of fat per pound of body weight, and the rest should be carbs, because carbs are energy and whatnot. So now we can get to a little more nuanced things. Like your pre-workout meal should be majority carbs because they're the fastest to digest. You want no fiber, little to no fiber, definitely no fat, or as little as possible, and probably no protein, because protein takes the longest to digest, or fat takes the longest to digest, protein takes the second longest, which they're both still like time-wise, we got like fat, protein, and then probably fucking carbs, right? Like just eat a bunch of carbs. They give you energy anyway. Like it just works, right? Just I hit a Pop-Tart and a banana. You could do like a Rice Krispie and a banana. You could do an apple, 2 apples, right? Like just very fast digesting carbs, lots of sugar. I don't know. Just don't eat like 3 packs of Sour Patch Kids. That's just stupid. Now you're gonna fuck up your calories and whatnot, right? Like I don't know. But so here's the way I set up a full body split. I'll put this link in the description. And there's a lot of info on here that I don't really want to talk right now. I'm kind of tired of talking. This recording is like 20 minutes. Watch this shit. You guys are good information, I guess. Kind of very surface level. I'd recommend Keenan Mallory on TikTok. He might have the best info out of all these people, other than like TNF, which TNF is this guy, natural pro. You know, trains very smart. It's his job. As you can see, we've I don't know. You kind of make sure you track your workouts and shit. That seems like a no-brainer to me. Make a setup to track it. I don't know. I started putting like +1 rep this session. Oh, fuck that. You know what I mean? Or like plus 2.5 pounds -3 reps previous 6, right? Like I just kind of like tracking that a bit more so I can kind of see what my my progression has been before, so I know if something goes wrong. Like if I'm like stalled on a bicep curl for like 2 weeks and then I progress and then I stall on it for the next 2 weeks, right? Like I know that's normal because that's just how I get stronger. Oh yeah, also you should be getting stronger every workout. I forgot to talk about progressive overload. So this means you, because of hypertrophy, your muscles get bigger, right? So progressive overload is a result of hypertrophy, which is a result of good workouts. So just shoot to beat your logbook every session. So damn, these are low ass numbers from back in the day. Okay, so for example, on this pendulum squat set, I got 2 plates and 12.5 for 5 reps, probably to 0 RIR. So the next time I go in, I'm going to try to either up weight and do similar or slightly less reps, or I'm going to do the same weight for hopefully 6 to 7 reps. So you just want to beat what you got last time. If you're not doing that, then you're not probably getting stronger. It's okay to stall on stuff for a bit, because the more advanced you get, the longer it takes to kind of build muscle, especially something hard like for bicep curls. You know, I'll kind of stay at like 2 to 3 reps for like a week or so, and then go to 3 to 4 reps, and then after enough time I'll get up. It's just very hard to build muscle on certain things. It's kind of just person dependent based on your genetics. Genetics kind of triumph all. So if you have shit genetics, it'll be a lot harder for you to build muscle. If you have like amazing, beautiful genetics, then it'll be very easy for you to do that. Newbie gains are not a time-based thing. They are a muscle based thing, because your muscles have 3 different types of fibers. There are type 1s, there are type 2s, and there are type 3s. The first ones that get filled up or hypertrophied, like, because your muscles do not break down and build back up, they get fuller of water. So eventually your tiny little type 1 fibers will look a bit more ballooned, right? You'll get a little bigger. And then after that, you start working on the layer under, which is your type 2s. And those are a bit harder, right? So you need to work harder to do those. You need heavier weight, etc. You need to kind of, it's like a fucking game, dude. It's amazing. It's the best thing ever. And eventually, when you're very advanced, you'll hit your type 3s. I have not gotten there yet. This is a type 1 dominant physique right here. That means I'm small, but we're getting there. It just takes you getting out of the bro split to start optimizing your shit. So once you get to a certain level of muscle built, your newbie gains will go away, and you'll stop jumping up crazy numbers every workout, and it'll be very consistent. It'll be like a rep a workout, maybe a rep every other workout, maybe, right? Like that's just how it is. It's a very long process. It's not a sprint, it's a marathon, and you have to keep running it. So if you don't enjoy it, you won't get far. So basically, love the gym, and